Good morning, Philippine Americans of Texas, especially here in San Antonio. Welcome back to USAPANG FIL-AM with CHONA. We are back on our segments called Getting to Know San Antonio Leaders. Now, as most of you know, like I mentioned earlier, our election is coming up. It's fast approaching. In fact, we're going to have our early voting kicking off on April 19th, which will be running until the 27th of that month. So to help our kababayans decide their best picks and who they should pick to serve San Antonio, we decided to interview our candidates from the mayoral candidates and the city council candidates. So I think it would be a lot easier for us to make the sound decision by getting to know each and every one of them. So right now, or today, I am actually interviewing one of our candidates running for City Council District 1.
Correct.
Correct? All right. So we have here Mr. Raymond Zavala. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to sit with me here today. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. And it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. It's an honor, too, to have you in our program. Today, like I said, mga kababayan, kikilalanin natin sila ng lubusan, Kasi para naman, we know that our choice is justifiable, right? So, part of it is, I'm going to be reading a short bio of Mr. Raymond Zavala for you to have an idea about who he is, what he does, what's his plan, and what can he offer District 1 people. All right? Here we go. Mr. Raymond Zavala. Again, he is a candidate for District 1. He is a lifelong resident of San Antonio, a 25-year military retired veteran. He is running for City Council to represent all of the residents of the district fairly and equally, he says. And he also says, being retired, I can and will devote my full-time attention to my district. My issues to be addressed are public safety, the city budget, senior care, homelessness, the economy, domestic abuse, human trafficking, and sanctuary city. I've run for office before and asked for your vote. This is what Mr. Raymond Zavala is saying. Now, we're going to be talking about each and every line item that he has mentioned on that. So, but before we proceed, I would like for Mr. Zavala here to tell us a little bit more about you. Anything that our viewers should know about you, sir?
First of all, I'd like to say that I am an advocate for the residents of District 1, the senior citizens, the youth, the disabled, and the veterans. I do not and will not negotiate with protesters, demonstrators, or rioters. We need to have order, and I am about the most fairest person as far as the candidates go. I've been involved in the city election since 2001, when I was told to quit complaining and get in the race and try to win and make a difference. I will definitely not make promises to you that I cannot keep. I will make a guarantee, because a promise can be broken, but a guarantee comes from the heart, and that is a value that I treasure with my life. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Zavala. Now, you have mentioned a few things that are going to be certainly a part of your agenda. All right. So I want to ask, I want to get into details as to how you're going to implement something. What are you going to implement on each of the line items? Let's start with public safety.
Public safety, I believe that as a former federal officer, there is no other greater danger than serving the public. And when you try to defund the police, you put the first responders in imminent danger. For example, you affect their morale, their welfare, and their safety. And when that happens, then you have anarchy, and we cannot afford that. Anybody who wants to defund the police needs to think about what will happen, or who are you going to call if the police are defunded and there's a mass exodus. Are you going to call your council person to come save you? I don't think so. We need to be smart, and we need to support our first responders.
And what specific steps would you take?
For one, I would increase their funding so that they can have better and updated equipment. It is great that they have camcorders now, body cams, but we need to do more. We need to provide them with better gear and equipment so that the response time can be shortened and more lives can be saved.
All right. Now, of course, by doing that, we're talking about city budget. So, because of course, for you to do that, for you to take those steps, that requires budget. How would you address the budgeting part?
I'm glad you asked me that question, because the budget is my second item that I want to discuss. For too long, too many nonprofits have been on the city council welfare roll. We need to make certain entities that have been on the city budget for too long. A good example of this is Haven for Hope. I am the only candidate that has gone down to city council and submitted 4 proposals to better our city and cut down on the frivolous spending. And the current council has denied taking any action on it. My plan is this. All those entities that are in the organizations that are on the nonprofits for City of San Antonio, we need to have them become self-sufficient. I have a plan for Haven for Hope. I've taken a trip up to Rapid City, South Dakota, and I'm going to use their homeless shelter as a template. When I walked in, right before I went into the building, there was a big sign that said, homeless, not helpless. I walked in, I wasn't greeted by an armed guard. I was not searched. I did not go through a metal detector. The person that greeted me was a director. He asked me if I needed a place to stay. I said, no, I wanted a tour. He said, sure. He called his assistant to take over the greeting slot, and he took us on a tour. I asked him how much money he was getting paid, and he looked at me kind of strange. He said, no one here gets paid. We're all volunteers.
Interesting.
And you know, in Rapid City, if you want to spend a night in the homeless shelter, you are required to perform 4 hours of community service. Why can't we implement that here? There, the community restaurants, I'm talking about Red Lobster, Olive Garden, they all donate food that has not expired, but they donate food to the shelter. So the residents of the homeless shelter in Rapid City, South Dakota, they get to eat quite well, nutritious food. Unfortunately, here in San Antonio, when I asked that question, I was told, well, we don't want to be held liable in case they get sick. Would you rather eat the bad stuff if you're a diabetic and you're eating a bunch of starches the way they feed you down at Haven for Hope? Or would you rather eat good quality food? Obviously, the choice is I'd rather eat good quality food. And there, the community also contributes. Like Harley Davidson, they contribute 2 washers, 2 dryers, everything you need to do the laundry for a whole year. Why can't we do that here?
Now you said you want to make them self-sufficient. How are you going to make that happen?
Well, I'm a very compassionate person. First of all, let me say this. I believe in charity within reason. I'm compassionate and I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. So I believe in patriotism. So by me saying that I am a compassionate person, I am. I'm not going to cut you off completely. We're going to downsize you. What amount you got this year, the next year you get half, and the next year you get half of that until we finally wean you out of the system and you become self-sufficient. We all live by a budget. If we cannot live within that budget, then we're going to go broke and we're going to suffer.
So how are we going to take them from that point towards, being self-sufficient exactly?
Okay. Well, like as I said, I would reduce their funding in half every year until they become self-sufficient.
But
Cur-
what
Currently, they have a lot of employees. Okay. I used to work for a millionaire and I did 3 jobs for him.
Mhm.
We were a staff of 10 in that company. I did 3, we were multitasking
Mhm.
and it worked. It was very efficient. And so we can do the same thing, but not only with Haven for Hope, but for other nonprofits that are there. For example, I want to hold them accountable. There is no accountability right now. I've asked for a financial report. I'm still waiting for it, and it's been over 7 years. Why is that? That's inefficient and unacceptable. What are they hiding? What don't they want me to know? And I want a detailed, itemized financial report.
In your district, District 1.
Yes.
All right. So you talked about senior care, homelessness. I guess my question would be, because like I said, going back to your statement saying that at some point I gotta take them to a point where they are all self-sufficient. I want to know. I would like for our viewers to hear what exactly or how exactly can they come up to that point.
Okay.
What should they do? What are the step-by-step process that you have in mind for you to make that happen?
On the case of the senior citizens, right now, all the senior citizen centers are closed.
Mm-hmm.
There's very minimal food distribution to the seniors. Okay. My question is, where is that federal money going to? Someone's got to know, and I want to know, because the seniors are the most important people in the district. They've lived, and now they deserve our respect, our support. During the time that I've been block walking, I've met a lot of seniors that say that they're not getting represented by the council, that the council does whatever they want. They have their own private agenda. They make promises during the election period, and then when they get elected, they forget all about the little people. I don't forget. Okay. And now, as far as the homeless, there is a Texas Penal Code ordinance number 3005, and I'm the only candidate that has said that. It is a trespassing ordinance which states you cannot live under a bridge, you cannot set up campsites anywhere, private property, city property, state property. Why we're not enforcing that, I don't know. But I do know that there are resources that will help the veterans that are out there. We need to increase our funding for mental health, and we need to make sure that the neighborhoods are safe, that the senior citizens can go to the store without being mobbed by panhandlers and homeless. And I intended to force that ordinance 3005 and become a safer city.
All right. So in District 1, focusing your district as a city council, if you're going to be chosen to be the councilman of District 1, now, what are the things that you should you think should you focus on? Should you focus on during your term?
During my term, I would like to say this, that I believe in full accountability.
Mhm.
I want the residents of District 1 to know that I will respect their choices. I will listen to them,
Mhm.
not just hear them out. I will listen and take action. And if I don't take action, I expect for them to tell me or to ask me, why did you do it this way? Why didn't you do it this way? I'm only one, and I want to be part of a team. It's not about, I did this for District 1 or I did that. No, we are a team. Everyone in District 1 is a team member. And I want to be the leader of that team member, but I'm going to listen and take action.
All right. So, what are the issues that need immediate attention in District 1 right now?
Housing. We have a lot of investors and developers that are coming into town. And of course, senior citizens are on a fixed income. Yes, some of us do have the Homestead Act, but that's not good enough. Our values still go up. Our property values go up, and so do our taxes. One affects the other. So we need to control that. Our current incumbent is on the tax committee. So why are we not doing what we're supposed to be doing for the people?
What are we supposed to be doing?
We're supposed
What should have they done?
Well, we should be holding down the property values and the taxes. We cannot be increasing them. Why can't we have a property value evaluation every 3 years? Why do we have to have it every year? So the city can get more money? Probably. I would hold them accountable.
All right. You also mentioned about domestic abuse and human trafficking. So tell me about it. That would relate to the needs of District 1 people.
I've seen in my neighborhood, I live 3 blocks from Haven for Hope. I've seen a lot of domestic abuse. In fact, if you were to go and check the records on the phone calls to the SAPD non-emergency numbers, you'll see most of those numbers are mine because I call it in. And I'm the only candidate that does that. Why? Because I overwatch the neighborhood and the district.
Now, I know there are so many forms of domestic abuse. Which specifically are you referring to?
Well, you have domestic abuse when you have a partner that is being abusive, either physically, mentally, or verbally. And that has to stop. These young ladies that get together because they feel they need to have someone as a partner, they need to weigh their choices a lot better and prevent this kind of abuse where they get into a relationship and they cannot get out because all they know is that this person is maintaining them at the same time controlling them.
So how do you think can you step in to address that?
Well, we need to have a counseling center where they can come in and feel free to talk, and they need to be educated on what's acceptable and what is not acceptable.
Are there no other programs currently in place in District 1?
Yes,
to address
yes,
that?
there is. There are other programs in existence, but there's not enough participants. The only time they do ask for help is when they're either at the hospital being treated or they've been physically injured. By that time it's too late.
So you can say it's their choice, right?
Yes.
It's not because we don't have the service readily available, but it's because they chose not to go there.
Right. But we need to encourage them so that they can be better educated on the science of domestic abuse.
Mm-hmm.
and human trafficking.
All right. So basically, you want to implement some programs that would educate them more about their rights and the things that they can do.
Yes, and these programs that I'm talking about would begin with the middle school students, because that's when the domestic abuse starts, and it continues and it escalates.
So, in other words, you want that to be a part of our educational curriculum.
Yes.
All right. That's a good point. Now you mentioned also about the sanctuary city. What? Tell me about that.
Okay. First of all, I am an American, and I believe that American should come first. I love to help everybody. In fact, I do help a lot of people, and you'll never see me taking a photo opportunity showing, well, I did this and I did that. No, I just do it, and the only people that know that I help are the ones that I help. Okay. Now, when it comes to Sanctuary City, here the city of San Antonio is running into a budget crunch. We're running out of money. But yet, a year ago, or a year and a half ago, we invited all these people that were crossing the border illegally, and we housed them and we fed them. You know, it's okay to be compassionate, and I'm all for immigration. But I'll say this: immigration legally, not illegally. And here we are, we give them everything. Here in San Antonio, on the western end of District 1, we have a lot of poverty. People cannot afford groceries. They cannot afford utilities or their escalating rents. So why are we not helping our own people first, rather than go out and help somebody else that came in here uninvited?
I agree with you on that. What's the population in District 1?
I am not sure of that because it keeps changing. But
what's the last number you know?
I can't remember right now. But I will say this: COVID took a lot of a toll on District 1.
Oh, really? You have high rate of
Yes.
death?
Yes. My best guess is that we need to have a team assigned so that we can keep track of all the senior citizens that need help with their health issues.
All right. So now, Mr. Zavala, I would like for you to look there and tell our District 1 voters why they should support you and vote you for City Council.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. And I'll say this: I am the only candidate that rides around at night throughout the district and throughout the city. We're looking for illegal campsites, looking for people that need help. For example, I give out rides to people, to single parents waiting at the bus stop with children. Why? Because I want to make sure that those children get home safely and early so that they can either do their homework or get enough sleep to be ready for class or homeschooling in the morning. I have no ties whatsoever to any political group. I am me, and I do community service for those that cannot help themselves. I'm funding my own campaign. I do not take money from investors or developers, because having taken that money, I would have owed them a favor. I would have been obligated. And no, sir, I am not for sale. I will never be for sale. And that makes clear the choice between the two: a life with honor and a life without. So that is my answer today, that I'm an honorable person. I'm a person that will be inclusive for all the groups. I don't favor one group over another. And I will definitely ensure that equality and fairness will be administered during the administration if I'm elected. I humbly ask you for your vote, not because for me or for myself, but for those in District 1 that need the help. I put others before myself. And I believe that there should be full accountability, complete transparency, a good steward of the taxpayers' dollars. And what I mean by full transparency is, or complete transparency is this. Why is it that the statues were removed at the different parks and taken away and stored? Why is it that when I asked about where are they located, I was told you need to go ask the city attorney? What, is he the gatekeeper? Am I not a member of this city, a resident? Shouldn't we all know where these statues are located? Shouldn't we all know what happened to the what I call the Titanic toilets, the indestructible ones? They're not at the Alamo Plaza like they said they were. And what happened to those costly recycle bins, the one with the red, green, and amber lights? You know, that's kind of, wasteful. You tell me you can't lift the lid and see if it's full or half full? Somebody bought those for the city council approved, but they're nowhere to be seen. There's no accountability. But with me, you will get accountability.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Mr. Zavala. And it's been an honor to have you in our program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we wish you good luck in this upcoming election.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day, sir.
Hey,
Thank you. Alright, yun lang po ang ating today. Abangan mo natin ang susunod na segment, with other candidate. Ito po ulit, si Chona Day. And thank you for watching USAPANG FIL-AM.